Before we get started with tonight's show, I gotta thank the amazing super chatters from last week's episode, starting with our beloved channel member, DJ, over at Movie Time Minute. Check DJ out for some awesome movie reviews, TV short reviews on his shorts feed, as well as the latest in movie news, giving his opinions and creating some great discussions. He's also just 10 subscribers away from hitting that 100 subscriber milestone, so help him get there. Maybe we can get him there by tonight. Next up, we got Michael Entity. He's been away for a little bit, but the boy is back with a fantastic new setup. Michael's another movie reviewer on the space, giving some movie reviews of the latest movies playing in theaters. He is 10 subscribers away from hitting 300. Let's help him get there, maybe even by tonight. And last but certainly not least is Jonathan Carney. Jonathan is also 10 subscribers away from hitting his first 100 subscriber milestone. Head on over to his channel for some awesome movie talk and discussions. All of these guys, these great content creators, you can find their links down in the description below. Hit their names, go to their channels, give them some love and support. And thank you, gentlemen, so much for all the love and support you've given to the Zach Milne Talks Movies YouTube channel. Your generous donations go a long way to support our channel, and I cannot thank you guys enough. So, tonight on Zach Milne Talks Live, is there even any news today? Well, Dune 2 got canceled and moved over to 2024, so we'll talk about that. Also, Jim Carrey says that he's retired, but there's some reports coming out now that he's not just returning to one iconic role, he's returning to two iconic roles. One being Dumb and Dumber, one being the Grinch. We'll explore these rumors and talk about just how true they really could be. And finally, the VFX artists are taking a huge historic step over at Disney, as they have just passed for a vote to unionize. We are going to talk about all this and more as Zach Milne Talks Live starts right now. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Zach Milne Talks Live. Welcome back. If you've been here before, welcome for the first time. If you're checking us out, by the way, and you like what you see, why don't you consider hitting the subscribe button? Join our little community. We have a goal on this channel. We want to hit 2,500 subscribers. We are very, very close to our goal. I cannot believe how close we are to our goal. You guys are amazing and killing it. And if you want to help us get to our goal as well and join our community, as I mentioned before, you're more than welcome to do so. We do these live shows every Wednesday. Also, we don't just have the live shows now. We have another show as well called Members Talk Live. For our channel members at $6.99, you get to jump on camera. We talk about a topic for about an hour. It's every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And we'd love to have you join us. It'll be great. Sorry I'm a little late for you guys watching live. I apologize for my tardiness. I'm just checking the chat, making sure that no one's saying my mic's not working or anything. It sounds good. You guys, a lot of guys in here tonight. I'm very happy to have you guys here. So let's just get started. Since I'm a little bit late, let's just jump right into it. Let's see what you guys are saying. And welcome everybody who's watching. I'm glad to have you guys here. We got 80s Kid from the 90s in here. Blue Leader standing by. Nice Star Wars reference. Well, welcome, man. Thank you for joining us tonight. Great to see you here. You go on to say no to Grinch too. I mean, I gotta agree with you there. I'm gonna say no to Grinch too as well. Hit that like button, y'all. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And everyone who's hit the like button, I really appreciate that. I'm surprised how much of you guys hit that like button for these live, even before they start. I have likes on these before they even start. It's incredible. It's amazing. I really appreciate it all, guys. Thank you so much. The View with Drew. What's going on, Drew? Thanks for joining us tonight, man. Hey, everyone. What's up? Well, how you doing, Drew? Glad to have you here. 80s Kid from the 90s says, who's the biggest dummy of the week, Warner Brothers or Disney? Oh, man. I think dummy's the wrong word, but greedy. I'm going to go with greedy, and I'm going to go with Warner Brothers, and we're going to discuss that. We're going to talk about why in a very, very short period of time here. We're going to talk about it very soon. 80s Kid from the 90s goes on to say, Ahsoka Part 3 was awesome. I'm excited for Part 4. Yep, I watched Part 3, and I got to say, I enjoyed it, but, and this mostly comes from my experience with the Disney Plus shows in general, is that the pacing I'm getting worried about. I'm really getting worried about the pacing, because yes, episode 3 was fun. I really enjoyed the space battle scene. I really enjoyed the chase. I enjoyed all that kind of stuff. As far as continuing the narrative and pushing the story forward, maybe like a nudge, like an inch. It crawled forward, and I'm worried because in so many Disney Plus shows, both Star Wars and Marvel, they've had these. I think Ahsoka's 8 episodes. They have had these 6 to 8 episode stories. And somehow it always feels rushed and unfulfilling in the end, doesn't it? At least for me, it does. And I'm worried, man. I'm worried Ahsoka's just going to be the same thing as it was before. Before we move on to some of the other comments and questions, we got a super chat in here. We got a super chat in here from Jason Entertainment, dude. Celebrating the first super chat from Jason Entertainment. Oh, that's a little message that comes with it. I don't even think you sent it a message with your super chat. Did you just send in a super chat? Well, dude, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. Guys, if you do want to send in super chats, I forgot to run this down at the top of the show, but we do have a super chat guide. I know a lot of you guys have channels of your own, and I want to help you guys out. So if you help me out, I want to help you out. So for a super chat guide, for $1.99, you get a community post made at the very end of this show, shouting out your channel. For $2.99, you get the community post as well as the link to your channel in the description below. And for $4.99 or more, you get the community post. And you get the link in the description of this video as well as next episode's video. And you get a special video shout out like you saw at the beginning of this show. And as always, super chats are not required to get your comment or question answered, but I will say that it's going to guarantee that you get your comment or question answered, because these chats, guys, I got to take a minute and just say these chats, these past couple episodes have been non-stop incredible. You guys are giving so much contribution to these chats, so much engagement. I cannot thank you guys enough for all that you do in these chats and giving me fun stuff to talk about, fun conversations. That's why we all started YouTube, right? We want to have fun conversations about movies, about TV, about all this nerdy, geeky stuff, and you guys are bringing that dream to life for me. So thank you guys so much. I cannot thank you enough. But with that said, we're getting to a point now where with the chat, I may not be able to get to every live comment and question. We went 60 episodes being able to do it. I think we might not be able to do that anymore, guys, but I'm going to try. I'm going to keep trying. For example, we got Gravy X Training here. What's going on, Gavin? Thanks for joining us tonight, man. How's it going, Zach? I'm doing well, man. How are you doing? I hear that your short film had a little bit of a bump in the road. I'm very sorry to hear that, man, but I'm looking forward to seeing it when it's complete, and yeah, just keep on going, man. Michael11591 says, hey, Zach, good evening. Well, good evening back to you, Michael. I'm glad to see you in here, man. Thanks for joining us. Movie Time Minute, one of our beloved channel members is in here. DJ, he liked it. He liked the video. Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Luke Ponto, my buddy Luke is in here. My man Zach, what's going on, my dude? Hope all is well. I'm doing pretty well, Luke. I've had a little bit of a crazy day. I'm pretty sure I saw a drunk driver crash into a curb and then keep driving down the road. But other than that, it's been good. I've been enjoying my day. Movie Time Minute says, just left a Zach Attack 600 subs. Ask me anything. That was fun. I jumped in there as well, and I really enjoyed it. Zach, I don't know if you're watching yet. I think you're still live. Brilliant idea, man. Brilliant idea. So much fun. So engaging. I had a blast with it, and it was really cool. I saw a lot of you guys in that chat as well. I love seeing our communities crossing over, coming into each other's chats, like building community, and it's fantastic. I love to see it. And yeah, Zach, again, if you're watching this later, if you're watching it now, bravo. Brilliant idea. Luke Bonto, watched anything good recently? You know what? Not really. I had a really busy weekend, so I missed Gran Turismo, unfortunately. And then I've just kind of been like rewatching stuff, and we're watching a lot of series. So like I rewatched Speed the other day for a little bit. That was good. And we watched The Bear. We're watching The Bear on Disney Plus in Canada. If you guys are not watching The Bear, I mean, it is so good. Like, just from an acting perspective, an acting standpoint, it is just so good. And I'm really enjoying it. All the performances. There's episode 7 of season 1. We're on season 2 now, but episode 7 of season 1 is some of the most intense and stressful and brilliant acting I've ever seen in television. It was so great. I highly recommend The Bear. And yeah, that's what my wife and I are watching right now. Michael11591 says, Zach Attack 600 subs live is great. It really was. I really enjoyed it. Movie Time Minute. What's up, Zach? Thanks for the shout out. Well, thank you for the super chat, dude. Like, you didn't have to do that, and you did, and it means so much to me, man. And yeah, I want to give back to you with more than just those 2 words. So any way that I can help, I want to help. And guys, like I mentioned in the video, he is at 90 subscribers. He is just 10 subscribers away from hitting that first 100, guys. that is such a great feeling on YouTube when you see those double digits turn to 3 digits. Help him out, guys. His link is in the description. Tap on his name, go to his channel, and give him some love and support. Let's see if we can get him there by tonight, guys. The view was true. I have excellent news to share with everyone. I saw Blue Beetle recently, and I hit 600 subscribers. You hit 600 subscribers as well. That's amazing, dude. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Jason Entertainment, what's going on, Jason? Thanks for joining us. Hey, Zach, how are you doing, my friend? I'm doing pretty well, man. How are you doing? I'm glad to see you in here. Michael 101591, I hate that they moved Dune 2 to next year. Why? Yeah, no, I get it, man. I get it. We'll talk about it. Movie Time Minute says, congrats to the view with Drew. Absolutely, congrats. Frankie Beastmaker made it. He made it. Hi. I only say that because he comments on these streams saying he missed them and he gets sad. But you made it live, man. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for taking your time to come into these streams and hanging out with us, man. I love that you're here. I love having you here. Thank you so much, man. Movie Time Minute says, love that shirt, Zach. Yeah, this is one of my favorite shirts. It's like Spider-Man, classic Spider-Man. I think it's the 60s Spider-Man, as well as the 60s cartoon Spider-Man. So, yeah, I love this shirt. I appreciate you noticing it, man. Thank you so much. We did a jump there. We got 80s Gift from the 90s says, I have 157 subscribers now. Thanks for the shout out. Nice, dude. That's awesome. On your way to 200, dude. Michael 11591 says, we don't need a Grinch 2. It should have been done around 2002, 2003. We'll talk about it. I don't think you have to worry too much. I'll just say that. Let's see here. We got Jason Entertainment. I didn't know that you could send a message when you send a super chat. Oh yeah. You can. People have done it before. You can send messages with your super chat, man. But hey, I really appreciate you, man, sending that in. It means a lot to me. And yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but just thank you so much, man. And you'll get the shout out. You'll get everything that you get. Frankie Beastmaker, I got you 12 more subscribers. Well, thank you so much, man. Thank you. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Did you tell 12 people about me, dude? I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. 80s Gift from the 90s says, it's time like these. I really wish Blockbuster was around. I mean, I feel nostalgic for Blockbuster. I think as same as a lot of you guys do. Let's be honest though, streaming is better. I mean, I have fond memories of going to Blockbuster, walking the aisles, looking at the movies, picking one out. I definitely do. But just sitting at home and having them accessible to you right there and then, like, I can't say that if Blockbuster was around, I would actually go to There's a reason why it went under. There's a reason why there's none around anymore. Netflix extincted them. Is that a word? They went extinct because of Netflix. And there's a reason why, unfortunately. But yeah, if there was a Blockbuster around here, I would definitely want to check it out one last time. Michael 11591. I saw a Good Burger tonight in the theater. Wow, at my local Alamo Draft House. It was a movie party. It was great seeing one of my favorite childhood films on the big screen. You know what? I've said it before. I'll say it again, I'm sure, but I'm not the biggest fan of Good Burger. Never really hit me at the right time. But I love that you got to see it on the big screen. I love that you love it, and I love that it sounds like you had a fantastic night going to do that, man. So that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. Michael 11591 says, Gran Turismo was awesome. Loved it, and it's worth watching. Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about Gran Turismo, so I definitely have to get on that very soon. 80s Gift for the 90s. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? I'm a dude. She's a dude, because we're all dudes. Hey. Yeah, I mean, it is catchy. And I apologize to those who had to hear me sing. Even if it wasn't a goofy voice, I sound terrible. 3D Movie Cinema, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining us tonight. Hey, Zach, man, hope your night's going great. Is Jim Carrey really returning to the Grinch? Didn't Dr. Seuss Widow block live-action movies and sequels due to the Cat in the Hat movie ticking her off? Take care, man. Hey, you know what? Don't jump ahead of me too much, man. We will get there. We will talk about that, but yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Frankie Beastmaker, I hit 1,389 subs and I'm trying to get to 1,400. Dude, that's incredible. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. Mr. Teach Film Preach Reviews. What's going on, Mr. Teach Film Preach Reviews? Did I get it right? Yes, I did. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for being here, man. Zach, how you doing, man? I just hit 200 subs. Nice. With Dune 2 delayed, what is a movie that could potentially compete against Oppenheimer for the all technical awards for the Oscars next year? Yeah, without Dune, I don't know. I think, I mean, obviously I haven't seen everything. I don't even really know what's coming up. I mean, Aquaman's not gonna do it. Marvel's isn't gonna do it. Color Purple, the musical? Probably not. I don't know. That's a good question. I'd have to look at the list of some upcoming movies and maybe put something together a little bit more. And I've got to see Oppenheimer and Barbie and all that still. I know. I'm so behind. Oh, the chat got stuck. Why is it? Oh, it didn't get stuck. Maybe it's just. Anyways, we'll stop there and we will move on to our first topic of the night, guys. But thank you everyone who's here watching live and joining me. It's gonna be a great night, I think. So let's just move on. Let's talk about topic number 1. And topic number 1 is gonna be this, guys. Yeah. Sad day. Sad day was announced this past week. I know a lot of people were disappointed because we opened up our Twitters, we opened up our tablets, our phones, whatever we opened up. We hoped it wouldn't happen. It happened. It happened. Variety says it happens. Dune Part 2 has been delayed till 2024. Here's what Variety has to say about this issue, guys. The Dune delay comes as the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes continue to drag on. Due to the SAG-AFTRA strike, actors may not do press for any struck films, which would have meant the star-studded Dune cast would not have been on the press circuit for the big-budgeted film. The date change is not expected to have a material impact on IMAX, who has fall production in titles like The Equalizer 3, Wonka, and The Marvels. Both Warner Brothers and Legendary are confident that next year's spring break for students and the Easter holiday will provide runaway for both titles to succeed. In addition to Chalamet, the Dune Part 2 cast includes Zendaya, Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, Rebecca Ferguson, Javier Bardem, Dave Bautista, Christopher Walken, Léa Seydoux, and more. So you can see why they'd want those stars to be able to promote it. You can see why they don't want to give up on that. Now, when it comes to this, first of all, I'll say this. For full transparency, I've not seen Dune. I've not seen the first Dune. I was waiting until Dune Part 2 came a little bit closer. I was waiting until that November date, guys. I was waiting until I could watch Dune Part 1 and then just skip and a hop over to my theater and watch Dune Part 2 back to back. I was really hoping I could do that. I might still be able to do that if I wait until March to watch the first one. But let's say this, first of all, right? So from the studio's perspective, right, I can see why they delayed it. For those reasons. You can't have the actors promote this. Because when Dune Part 1 came out in 2021, Dune Part 1, it did okay. It did fine. It did $400 million. Now, this was the time when they were doing releases in theaters as well as on HBO Max simultaneously. So a lot of that took away from the Dune box office, or the Dune box office worldwide overall. But there's no denying that Dune became like a household name. The movie was beloved. It won so many Oscars. But from where Dune 1 was when it came out to where we are now, Dune Part 2 has so much potential to do so much better than Dune Part 1 did. And I can see why Warner Brothers would not want to miss out on a single dime of that by having to miss out on this cast promoting the movie to get as many butts in the seats as they possibly can. With that said, there's also no denying that this is a very, very, very greedy decision that Warner Brothers is making. Now, during this whole SAG-AFTRA strike, the studios have really reared their ugly heads. Like, we all know there's an ugly side of business. We all see it from time to time, but we're really seeing it right now with these studios and these actors. Because these actors, I'm not an analyst. I'm not like a professional in this industry, but I've read a lot of articles. I've read a lot of people who are analysts in this industry and are professionals, and they all say the same. They say that this is inevitable. The studios cannot outlast the actors. The actors, they're going to have to come to negotiations. They're going to have to come to some kind of deal, and the studios are just prolonging this longer than they need to prolong this. If they would just sit down, negotiate, and give these actors what they deserve, or at least come to some kind of agreement with these guys. I mean, you heard reports recently that the SAG-AFTRA and these studios came together, but it wasn't really a negotiation. It was basically just the studios saying, hey, we gave you a great deal. This deal is awesome. Sign this deal. We want you to take this deal. We're not going to listen to what you have to say, but we want you to sign this deal. And they're not letting them have an ounce of input or anything right now. So, yeah, this move of Dune sucks. It sucks for us. It sucks for the actors because it just goes to show that these studios are not budging anytime soon. This actor strike is probably going to go on a lot longer than a lot of us want it to go. And Dune Part 2 is now a casualty in the crossfire, unfortunately. But anyway, guys, that's it. Dune Part 2 coming out March 2024. What do you think of this, guys? How bummed are you? That's really the only question, right? Is how bummed are you that Dune got moved to 2024? Comment down below and let me know, guys. And with all that out of the way, let's take a look and see what you guys are saying about this. And I'm sure I can guess. I'm sure I can guess that many of you are not particularly happy about this. Let's see here. We got Michael 101591 says, I'm shocked that you are not the biggest fan of Good Burger, but that's cool. Yeah, I mean, some parts of it made me laugh. I'm not going to deny that. I mean, I liked Kenan and Kel. Kel Mitchell and Kenan Thompson. I liked them from their show, Kenan and Kel. Then I watched Good Burger. There was some silly humor and stuff, but overall, I think I was just a little bit too old to have the nostalgia for it. I think I watched it for the first time when I was like 14, 15, something like that. So it just didn't grab me. It didn't stick with me. But I'm glad that it stuck with a lot of people. And hey, there is a Good Burger 2 coming out. So there's a reason there's a Good Burger 2 coming out. Someone like people love this franchise. People love these movies. So we'll see what happens with that. Michael 101591, Oppenheimer might as well sweep the Oscars next year. I haven't seen the film but heard great things. I haven't seen the film either. I haven't seen Oppenheimer. Honestly, I think that the Oscars is going to be a Barbenheimer fest. I think it's just going to be Barbenheimer for the Oscars. I think Barbie's going to sweep. I think Oppenheimer is going to sweep. I mean, I haven't seen either film, so I can't really speak to that. But like, if I had to take a guess based on like reviews of other people's opinions and what I've seen in trailers and stuff like that, I could easily see probably Barbie winning the production design and costume designing, and Oppenheimer will probably have a couple actor wins in there. I could see it getting Best Picture just based on everything I've heard. I hear it's like Christopher Nolan's magna opus, so I could see it getting Best Picture, and I could see Christopher Nolan possibly getting Best Director as well. I think the Oscars is just going to be a Barbenheimer sweep up, honestly, but we'll have to wait and see. Frankie Beastmaker, the reason why I love your channel is because I love movies and I think you are a great man. You're young, you're happy, and you do great live streams, but one day I want to come up in your live stream. Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate all those kind words. I appreciate your support. And yeah, I mean, never say never. Absolutely. I'm totally up for collaborations with people. I usually like to, like get on camera with them first before we just jump on live. But yeah, man, I really appreciate that you even like want to come on camera with me. I really appreciate that like you care enough to even want that. Like I'm just some dude sitting in my spare bedroom in my basement, just talking to a webcam, which happens to be you guys. Thank you so much, guys. And yeah, that means a lot to me, man. That means a lot. Thank you so much for that. Michael 1015. Oh, whoops, we did a jump. Michael 101591 says, I really hate this strike. They are pushing everything till next year. I mean, they haven't pushed everything. Let's be fair. They haven't pushed everything to next year. I mean, Dune got pushed and Kraven the Hunter got pushed, I believe. There hasn't been any word about the Marvels being pushed. I mean, honestly, all bets are off at this point with Dune because I imagine they lost a lot of money pushing Dune. I mean, the marketing for Dune Part 2 was already underway. It was only a couple months away. I've been hiding my head when the Dune trailers come on in the theater because I don't want to see anything until I see the first movie. But it's playing in theaters. They've got the trailers out there. They've been marketing this thing for a couple months now. And yeah, and then they just decided to move it 4 months. So I'm sure that hurt them with the marketing because they're going to have to put more money into the marketing for next year. But yeah, as far as everything getting pushed, I wouldn't go that far yet to say because not everything has been pushed, but it very well could go that way. I just really hope they don't push Aquaman because just let that movie come out. Okay, the DCEU is dying. Everyone's abandoning it. You don't have to worry about making this movie great. No one's gonna see it. Just put it out. Just put it out. Okay. Do not push Aquaman into next year. Put it out in December. Let it just have its misery. Put it out of its misery. Let it die. Let it die. Let it die. Why am I singing tonight? I don't know. But let it die. Put it to rest. Please do not delay that one. But I could see the Marvels getting pushed, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens, man. But yeah, the strike, it sucks, but in reality, it's really good what these actors and writers are fighting for. So it's a good thing these strikes are happening. Michael 101591, Dune is great. The original from the 80s is so boring and slow. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen either. I did find the 80s Dune at my Walmart for like $5, and I debated picking it up or not just to watch it before I watched the new one, but I opted not to. I just don't really feel like it because I've heard nothing but bad things. Sorry, I've heard nothing but terrible things about that 80s Dune, so I haven't even bothered. Movie Time Minute says, I didn't love the first Dune, but I loved the setup for part 2. Yeah, I mean, I have watched 15 minutes, I think, of the first Dune, and I thought it was kind of cool, some cool imagery and concepts and stuff, but I haven't watched anything else from it, so I don't even really know what the story is. I don't really even know who the characters are. My brother recently watched it. He said he loved it. Everyone I talked to says they love the first Dune. So I'm looking forward to watching it and seeing how I feel myself. But the fact that you said you love the setup for part 2 makes me even more confident in my decision to wait until I can just back them and not have to do the wait like you guys have to do. But you guys have watched the movie, so you kind of win there. 80s Kid for the 90s says Wonka is a movie that's made for March. I mean, when is that Wonka comes out in December, doesn't it? Wonka comes out Christmas time. I can see Wonka being a Christmas movie, to be honest with you. That trailer felt kind of like whimsical around the Christmas time with the snow and everything. Snow where my area is. I don't know if you guys get snow, but I could see Wonka being for Christmas time. But I don't know. They could move Wonka. I don't know if they would move it to March as well and have two of their movies in the same month, but I don't know. I hope it doesn't get moved, to be honest with you. I hope it doesn't. 80s Kid from the 90s says, Dune 2 is a movie you wait 11 months for. Yeah, we're going to have to wait 4 more. We're going to have to wait 4 more. Mr. Teach Film Preach Reviews says, no Dune yet? You can do a double feature when Dune Part 2 comes out, but have you seen the trailer for The Killer yet with Michael Fassbender and directed by David Fincher? Looks awesome. I saw that the trailer came out, I think it was today, or was it yesterday? The trailer came out recently, but I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it. I'm behind on my trailers. I don't really make time to watch trailers too much anymore. It's just kind of something where if I'm like either really anticipating the movie or I have like negative feelings towards the movie and I want to see if the trailer can win me over, I'll do like a trailer reaction for them. If I don't do a trailer reaction, or if I don't feel the need to do a trailer reaction, I find that I'm not watching very many trailers anymore. Like I still haven't seen the Rebel Moon trailer, which that one came out like a couple days ago, so I don't know why. I just haven't felt the need to search it up and watch it. So there you go. Michael 1015. Oh, whoops. We did a jump. Michael 101591 says, so very bummed Dune 2 got delayed. I know, man. A lot of us are, for sure. Frankie Beastmaker, Dune 2. It looks like what the first one should have been. I would have liked the first one, but I think the second one will be better. I'm not going to watch it in cinemas, though. I'm watching it on the TV. Well, that's cool, dude. I mean, I guess you weren't very thrilled with Dune Part 1, which you and Movie Time Minute are like the only people that I've heard say that it was just kind of okay or not very good, which is interesting. But also very cool. I like that you guys have that perspective and that opinion. Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak to that. I haven't seen Dune Part 1. I don't even really know what Dune is about, but I hope that when you do get to see Dune Part 2, man, I hope you love it. I really do. Sully Streams, what's going on, Sully? Thanks for joining us, man. Good Burger comes up a shocking amount in these streams, Zach. You know what? I agree. I of all the things that we talk about, I am surprised how often we talk about Good Burger. You got something going there, Sully. I agree with you. 80s Kid from the 90s says, Ordinary People. I thought Dune 2 was already out. Yeah, that's another thing too, right? Is you already marketed the movie. There's already trailers playing. People are going to just assume it came out. People are going to assume that hey, didn't I miss that one? Didn't it already come out? That happened a lot during the pandemic. That happened a lot when all these movies in the pandemic got pushed a year and stuff like that. I had family members like, didn't that already come out? And it's like, no, the theaters aren't even open. It got pushed. So you definitely do have a danger for that as well. Movie time minute. I am watching you in bed before going to sleep because I have to get up at 4 in the morning. But my wife just looked over and said, "He's my favorite person you watch." So there's some high praise. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that, DJ's wife. Thank you so much for the kind words. And wow, dude, like it's so crazy, like hearing those kind of like stories and stuff like that. Cause like we've connected through Members Talk Live. So like you're a friend. I know you as a person pretty or I'm getting to know you pretty well as a person at this point. But like I don't know, it's like I watch people on YouTube in bed, and the fact that someone is watching me on YouTube in bed, it just kind of still boggles my mind. It's so crazy. It's so crazy to think about, but that's so awesome. And yeah, I appreciate those kind words, man. Thank you so much. Or I should say ma'am. I appreciate those kind words, ma'am. Thank you so much. I don't know if she likes being called. My wife would not like being called ma'am, so I apologize if that was not your favorite. Nathan's Random Movies. What's going on, Nathan? Thanks for joining us. Hey Zach, can you rank the August movies you saw? Mine is from worst to best: Meg 2, Heart of Stone, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, Mutant Mayhem, Blue Beetle, and in first is Gran Turismo. I did not see too many August films, I don't think. Let's see, of your list, I saw Meg 2, I saw Mutant Mayhem, I saw Blue Beetle, and I think that's it. I think I only saw 3, but if you wanted me to rank them, if you wanted me to rank those 3 that I think they're the only ones I saw, I would go Meg 2 at the bottom, then Blue Beetle, then Mutant Mayhem. I think that would be my list from least favorite to best. I didn't hate any of those movies. Although Meg 2, like it's awful. Meg 2 is so bad. Meg 2 is just is an atrocity of writing. Everything they do makes no sense. It's illogical, but that's what I knew I was getting when I went in, and I had a fun time with it. Michael 101591, Warner Brothers just blew so much money wasting promoting Dune 2 only to push it till next year. What a waste. Completely agree, man. Completely agree. That's something too where it's like it's their greed, right? It's their greed of like, we're trying to save money by not paying these actors, so we're going to push the movie 4 months and we're going to lose money by doing so because of the marketing. It's just the cycle that they're in. It's it's an ugly thing, greed. It's an ugly thing. Nathan's Random Movies. Also, I'm literally editing a video while watching this. Oh, thanks, man. I do that too. I edit videos while I was just prepping this show. I was getting all the images. I was getting all the quotes and all that stuff ready to go while I was watching my buddy Zach Attacks Reviews 600 subscriber live stream. So that's really cool that like you're doing that for this live stream, man. I appreciate that. Michael 101591. If the Marvels gets pushed, I'll be furious. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll be furious, but I'll be disappointed. I'll be disappointed because the closer we get to the Marvels, I am getting more excited for the Marvels. I do think the Marvels is looking like a lot of fun. I really liked the last trailer that they put out. I just think these girls are going to be dynamite. I think seeing Captain Marvel, Rambeau, and Ms. Marvel all together, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be so much fun, and I hope we get to see it in November. I really, really hope it doesn't get pushed, but yeah, if it gets pushed, I'll be disappointed for sure. We just got a super chat. From our amazing channel member, DJ, Movie Time Minute. Dude, thank you so much. Gotta get some sleep. Keep up the great work. I'm at 91 subs. Nice. It's the final countdown. Also, I'll watch anything Jim Carrey, even if it's bad. I mean, well, first of all, dude, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much for sending that in, man. I appreciate it so much. And 91 subs. Guys, head on over to his channel. His link's in the description. Get this man to 100. Make him wake up with a big smile on his face because he wakes up and he's got 101 subscribers. Come on, let's get him over and above, guys. But yeah, thank you so much again, DJ. That means a lot. That really helps the channel out a lot. And yeah, we'll talk again soon, man. We'll talk again soon. Have a good night. Michael 101591, don't watch the original Dune. It's confusing as well. Oh, I've heard that, man. I've heard that. So thank you. I appreciate that. I will avoid it like the plague. Hungry Movie Buff, what's going on? Thanks for joining us, man. Hey, buddy, so excited for another live. Well, thank you for being here, man. I'm excited to have you here for another live. I had a crazy day. I had to get stitches above my knee due to a piece of tile hitting me. Oh, my goodness. And then my local radio was hosting a free showing of the 1996 Twister. That is quite the day, man. Well, first of all, I'm glad you're okay. I hope the stitches went well. I've never gotten stitches in my life personally. I don't think I ever had. gotten stitches. Maybe when I was really young, I might have gotten them, but not enough to remember. So I don't really know what getting stitches is like, but it does not look fun from what I've seen in the movies. But I hope that went well, man. I hope you heal quickly, and I hope you're doing all right. And I'm glad that piece of tile wasn't more deadly, man. I'm glad you're doing okay. And the twister thing, that's pretty awesome. That's awesome. I hope you win. Frankie Beastmaker. Speaking of March, my birthday is March 19th. Nice. Well, I mean, it's still a couple months away, but I'll keep that in the back of my mind, and I'll wish you a happy birthday, hopefully, when that comes around, man. Michael 101591. Zach now needs to watch Good Burger 2 when it comes out. You know what? I've debated doing a movie commentary to Good Burger 2. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm actually going to do it. I don't know if I'm going to do a movie reaction to Good Burger 2. I actually haven't really looked at when Good Burger 2 comes out. But the amount of Good Burger that we've had in the chat's history, I feel like I almost need to. I feel like I owe it to you guys to do a Good Burger 2 reaction. So we'll see what happens. Nathan's Random Movies. What movies are you seeing in September? I'm seeing Equalizer 3, The Nun, A Haunted in Venice, Expendables, and The Creator. Yeah, September I looked at. I'm honestly not stoked for very much in September. I mean, Equalizer 3 comes out this weekend. I haven't seen any of the Equalizers. I haven't seen 1 or 2. If I can squeeze them into my schedule, if I can watch Equalizer 1 and 2, I will go see Equalizer 3, but if I can't work those in, I won't see Equalizer 3. I'm probably not going to see The Nun 2. I never even saw the first one. It's not really my thing. Expendables 4, I have no excitement for. I'll probably check it out. I've seen the other 3. It would be a review to get out to you guys, so maybe I'll watch Expendables 4. And I'll watch The Creator. The Creator looks interesting. The Creator looks like a really cool sci-fi movie. So I'm definitely going to watch The Creator. But of the rest of the movies that come out in September, I'm not super thrilled, to be honest with you. The summer movie season, it's over now. The last one I watched was Blue Beetle. I guess you could say it ended with Gran Turismo. But maybe I'll go see that. Maybe I'll just go see Gran Turismo this weekend. But yeah, the summer movie season's kind of over. I can kind of feel that it's over. Which, by the way, guys, pretty good summer movie season, I would say. I had a good time this summer. I mean, I didn't love everything that I saw, but I don't think there was very much or anything that I hated watching this summer. It was a fun summer movie season. Colin Jackman. Hi. Well, hello, Colin. Thanks for joining us tonight, man. Thanks for being here. 80s Kid from the 90s. Did you ever watch the movie Little Monsters? I don't think so, man. It doesn't ring a bell. I'm sorry. I don't think that's ever been on my VCR. Noah Casey, what's up, man? Well, what's up, Noah? Thanks for joining us tonight, dude. Thanks for being here. With that, guys, I think we'll move on. I think we'll talk about topic number 2 now. I think we'll move on to our next topic of the night. And with that, why can't I find... There we go. With that, guys, topic number 2 is this. So, one of my favorite, if not my favorite actor, at least my favorite comedian, is Jim Carrey. I love Jim Carrey. I've loved Jim Carrey since I was a young kid. I really idolized the man when I was a little bit older, in my teen years, when I was doing drama, acting stuff in high school. I really channeled my inner Jim Carrey. No one in the entertainment business has made me laugh more than Jim Carrey. And as we all know, after Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Jim Carrey kind of came out and said that he's retired. He's done. He's done a lot for Hollywood. He's given us a lot of entertainment, which he totally has. And now he's ready to move on and retire. Well, imagine my shock then, when not just one, but 2 separate stories came out saying that Jim Carrey is going to be returning to 2 iconic roles that he played early in his career: Dumb and Dumber's Lloyd Christmas and The Grinch. Now, here's the thing. Now, these are rumors, and these are heavy rumors. Now, I've looked into these sources. There's really no sources there. And normally, if the news was a little bit more filler? If there was more news, normally we wouldn't cover something like this. But I did find it kind of interesting. There was a couple things I found interesting about this. So let's just explore this first, shall we? Now let's talk about the possibilities of these happening. Now, the first one we're going to talk about is The Grinch. All right, so this comes to us. This is a site called Gigantic Robot. All right, and he says he has an exclusive. Jim Carrey is returning for The Grinch 2. Now, let's see what he has to say in his article. Let's see exactly how backed up this is, right? So he goes on to say, Jim Carrey is returning to Universal Pictures for The Grinch 2, once again playing Dr. Seuss's most famous ill-tempered creation. According to our trusted and proven sources, the Sonic the Hedgehog actor is coming back as the character after an absence of 20 years, which seems par for the case for the star. Although what exactly Jim Carrey might be stealing this time in The Grinch 2 is currently uncertain. It continues his recent willingness to appear in sequels. Sorry, I got a little mixed up there. So let's talk about this for a second. Let's just talk about the possibility of Jim Carrey coming back for The Grinch 2. I don't buy it. Like I don't think this story has any credibility to it. I don't think this story has anything to stand on. I do not buy this story 1 ounce, 1 bit. And I'll tell you why. There's a couple of reasons why I don't buy this story at all. Number one, Jim Carrey hated doing the Grinch. Now, I don't maybe hated is a little bit strong word, but he has come out publicly. He has talked about how that makeup that he had to wear for the Grinch and the fursuit and everything was torturous. I mean, there's a great bit that he did on the Graham Norton show a couple of years ago where he talked about how they had to bring in like Navy SEAL trainers to teach him how to deal with torture. He was smoking cigarettes a lot. He was just having a miserable time on set. And that was 20 years ago, right? That was a younger Jim Carrey at that time. He is now 20 years older. I cannot imagine that Jim Carrey would want to do that again. That Jim Carrey at the age that he is at right now would want to get back under that makeup where he himself said it felt like he was being buried alive for 8 hours a day. I doubt at this age that he is at, he would want to do that again. Another reason is this article, these sources say that the Universal Studios want him back. They're saying that they're eyeing to get Jim Carrey back for The Grinch. Now, here's the thing. Universal Studios, they can do that all they want. That does not mean that Jim Carrey has signed on. That does not mean... There probably isn't even a script because we have a writer's strike going on, depending on when this was taking place. The fact that it's coming out, it probably took place months ago, but there's no word on Jim Carrey signing on. There's no word about Jim Carrey reading the script. There's no word about a script even out there. So the fact that Universal, they can want Jim Carrey to come back all they want, but it will depend on how much they pay him and if Jim Carrey actually wants to come back. And the biggest reason why I do not buy this story whatsoever is because of this. The Grinch came out in 2000, right? And it was a pretty good hit. It became a Christmas classic. I watch it every Christmas. Then you move on to 2003, and they did the live action The Cat in the Hat. And The Cat in the Hat, starring Mike Myers, was abysmal. I mean, I have nostalgia for it. I watched it a lot as a kid. But when it came out, critics hated it. A lot of people hated it. My Nana and Papa, who took me to see it when I was a kid, they've admitted that it's one of the worst movies that they've ever had to sit through with us kids. So they hated it a lot. It did not go over well. And the person it did not go over well the most with was Dr. Seuss and his wife Audrey. Now, when Dr. Seuss passed away, his estate went to Audrey, his wife, and his wife. Well, let's hear her words. She has said this. This comes to us from throwbacks.com that had this. Since Audrey, this is after Dr. Seuss's passing, since then, Audrey has become the president and CEO of Dr. Seuss Enterprises, and she works hard every day to ensure that no one takes advantage of her husband's iconic work. She has also given her blessings for the first live-action movie. However, after the release of The Cat in the Hat, she wasn't impressed with the film overall. She also did not approve of Mike Myers' role as the cat. Audrey decided to never allow any further live-action adaptations of Dr. Seuss's works. The reason for this, or this is the reason why the planned sequel of The Cat in the Hat never came to fruition. There have since been animated movies based on Dr. Seuss's, such as The Lorax, but you will probably never see a live-action version for a long time. So, here's the thing. I did a little bit snooping. I did a little bit of looking around the internet, and Audrey has passed away. She passed away in 2018. Now, I could not find anything that talked about the new estate, the new people that own Seuss Enterprises, and whether or not they have taken this ban away, whether or not they are now allowing studios to make live-action versions of Dr. Seuss movies, which I imagine if they did, if they were like, hey, Audrey's gone, we're the new people that are in charge, and we say go for it. We say yes, make live action Dr. Seuss. I feel like we would have heard something by now. I feel like they would have put something out by now. I feel like that's just the greed of Hollywood. I feel like they would have gotten on that by now. So I don't buy this story 1 ounce. I do not think that Jim Carrey is coming back as the Grinch. I do not think there's going to be a Grinch 2. What do you even do with the Grinch 2? Like, what do you do? There's no other story for the Grinch. There's no Dr. Seuss, the Grinch 2. Oh no, there's Thanksgiving 2. Like, like there's nothing about that. Like, he's not going to steal Thanksgiving. He's not going to steal Hanukkah or whatever he wants to steal next. There's no Grinch 2. I'm just going to say it right here. I do not think for a second that there is a Grinch 2. Now, let's move on to this other one, though. Let's move on to Dumb and Dumber. Now, Dumb and Dumber 3, I should say. This story comes to us from Fandom Wire. And Fandom Wire is saying that Dumb and Dumber 3 is reportedly in the works, and it will force Jim Carrey out of self-imposed retirement. Dumb and Dumber 3 is on its way, and it looks like Jim Carrey is back in the saddle, ready to bring back his wacky and hilarious character of Lloyd Christmas. In a world where remakes and sequels are a dime a dozen, it's great to see that one of the all-time great comedy franchises are back in action. Now, I do give this one a little bit more of legitimacy, and I'll tell you why. Because Fandom Wire is a site that has gotten things right in the past. Particularly, they've gotten this big story right in the past. Fandom Wire was the first place, at least that I saw, and I remember that it was not many other places at the time. They were the first people that said that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were signed on and going into Spider-Man 3. And this was well before any talk of Tobey and Andrew possibly coming into Spider-Man 3 was in anyone's mouths, right? So that obviously came to fruition. That obviously came to be true. And so another thing about Dumb and Dumber 3 that does give it a little bit more legitimacy, at least in my mind, is Dumb and Dumber 2. It didn't do that bad, honestly. For a comedy, it didn't do that bad. It had a budget of $50 million, and worldwide it made $169 million. So it made profit. It did make profit. Now, I saw it back in 2014. I didn't think it was great, to be honest with you. I remember liking it more when I watched it in theaters, but it has not held up for me. Especially since Dumb and Dumber is like my favorite comedy, the sequel was a little disappointed. But let's explore this one a little bit more, right? Why could this one possibly be true? Well, you look at Jim Carrey, he's a comedy man, and him and Jeff Daniels have a great relationship. In fact, they've talked about how they had a great time making Dumb and Dumber 2. I mean, yeah, it wasn't critically received that well, but hey, they had fun making it. They loved getting back together and doing these characters. So who's to say that maybe Jim Carrey wants to do that again? Him and Jeff, they're good friends. Maybe they want to get back into the wigs. Maybe they want to get back on set with all the lovely cast and crew that they call friends. They just have a great time making movies with. I feel like I could see that being more appealing to Jim Carrey than going back under the Grinch makeup. So while I don't necessarily think that these rumors, either one of them, are true, I will give more the benefit of the doubt to Dumb and Dumber 3. Of all of these sequels of these two, I could see Dumb and Dumber 3 actually happening. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think of this? Do you want to see Jim Carrey come back for the Grinch? Do you want to see him come back for Dumb and Dumber? How would you feel about that? Did you like Dumb and Dumber 2? I can't believe that movie's almost 10 years old. Holy crap. Comment down below. Let me know all your thoughts and opinions, guys. I'd love to hear them. And what's your favorite Jim Carrey movie? And with all that said, let's take a look at what you guys are saying about this. All right. Let's see. Where do we leave off? We left off right here. Okay. 80s kid from the 90s. I'm planning to make my top 25 favorite movies video soon. That's very exciting, man. I can imagine that was a lot of work. I imagine that's going to feel really satisfying and fulfilling to get out there, man. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Hungry Movie Buff. I'm in the same place as you, Zach. I've yet to see Dune, and I'm waiting to do a double feature on Dune 2 release date. I'm so excited for Killers of the Flower Moon because it comes out on my birthday. I'm really looking forward to Killers of the Flower Moon too, man. I mean, I've watched the trailer. I think the trailer looks great. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio. I love Leonardo DiCaprio. It just looked great. It just looks so much fun. Fun. That's not the right word. It looks like it's going to be a really well-made movie is what I meant to say. And I'm there for it. I'm really looking forward to it. 80s Kid from the 90s goes on to say Ace Ventura is a good movie. Ace Ventura is a movie that you could not make today, at least not in the way that they made it, especially in the end. But I think it's hilarious. I do find Ace Ventura to be very funny. I really do enjoy that movie. I think Jim Carrey is great in it. It's like peak physical comedy from Jim Carrey. The sequel's okay. Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, it's okay, but that first one, man, that first one had me cracking up, especially as a teen. I really like that movie. Whoops, we did a jump there. Nathan's Random Movies. If you could only keep one movie that came out this year, which one would it be? Oh, I could only keep one movie that came out this year. I mean, oh man, that's tricky. I guess I gotta go with my favorite one of the year so far, and that's Across the Spider-Verse. I'd be keeping Across the Spider-Verse. If I could only keep one, I would be keeping Across the Spider-Verse. But I would be sad to let go of some other movies this year. You know what? I recently rewatched The Flash. I showed my wife it for the first time. I like that movie. I mean, I get it. I understand. I see the flaws. I can see why people wouldn't like the movie. I had a blast, even at home watching it. I had so much fun watching that. I thought, and the Blu-ray looked good. I even thought some of the visual effects that were kind of like iffy and gross looking in the theater looked a little bit better on Blu-ray, but maybe that was just me. And I love that the Blu-ray was full screen. It filled up my entire TV. We need more movies to do that with physical releases. Like the widescreen where you got the bars on the top and the bottom of the screen, they're fine, but I love it when, that's why I love Disney Plus's IMAX enhanced feature, especially for like Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Like you fill up the entire TV screen and you get that on your left scene going, and you get all of them charging at Thanos and glorious, just full screen. Oh, I love it. The widescreen just takes something away from it, you know? Anyways, where were we? Yes, if I could keep one movie this year, it would be Across the Spider-Verse. Mr. Teach Film Preach Reviews. Zach, since we are talking Jim Carrey, are you a fan? And if so, what is your favorite Jim Carrey movie? I'm a big fan of Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is my favorite comedy person in movies, at least, for sure. And my favorite Jim Carrey movie, Dumb and Dumber is my favorite kind of like comedy movie. I don't know if I would go strictly my favorite Jim Carrey movie. My favorite Jim Carrey performance, I honestly think, is Liar Liar. At least comedic wise. I think his drama stuff is like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is really good. But if I had to pick one favorite Jim Carrey movie, I think I'm just going to go with Dumb and Dumber. It's not my favorite like straight Jim Carrey movie, but it's one of my favorite comedies of all time, so I gotta go with that one. Michael 101591 says you need to do a commentary for Good Burger and then a reaction to Good Burger 2. Oh man, I gotta watch both of them back to back. I mean, I gotta find out when Good Burger 2 comes out, and I gotta find out if I can work that into my schedule and see if I can do that. Maybe. I'm not gonna say no. Maybe. I'll give you that for now, Michael. Maybe. 80s Gift from the 90s. It's time to watch my favorite movies soon, as well as making more videos, as well as writing a book. You're busy, man. You're a busy guy. You're writing a book? That's awesome. I admire that so much. I admire people that write books. I've known a couple people in my life that have written books, and I'm just like, what? You write books? Like, it's crazy. I love it. It's awesome. Michael 101591. The creator I'm interested in, Expendables 4, I'm met on. I'm not even met on. I'm just not excited for. Like, honestly, I haven't really been into the Expendables franchise. The first one was fine. I didn't like the second one. I remember not liking the second one at all, and I don't remember liking the third one either. I've only watched them once, and once was enough for me. So I'm not even like met on it. I just don't want to watch it. Like, I'm just not interested. I don't think it's looked good. But you know what? If I gotta watch something in September, I'll watch it. I'll get a review out. We'll see. Maybe it will surprise me. I don't know. 80s Kid from the 90s. Oh, wait, I have to finish reading a mystery book for book club. Wow, man, you got a book club too? You're so busy, man. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us for the show tonight, man, and talking movies with me, man. Like, honestly, it does not go lost on me that you guys are taking time out of anything else. You could be working on your book right now. Maybe you are, maybe you're multitasking, but you could be out taking a walk. You could be out going to the movie theaters. You could be out watching a movie. You don't have to have me on, but you choose to have me on. You choose to have discussions with me during this time, and I really appreciate that, guys. It's not lost on me. Thank you so much. Michael 101591. Jim Carrey is my idol. Yeah, he was one of my idols when I was younger too, especially for my acting in high school. I really channeled Jim Carrey energy. Colin Jackman. Do you know Sean Chandler and Doomblazer and Filmstocked? I mean, I know of them. I don't know them, but I watch Sean Chandler a lot. Like, I really like Sean Chandler. I love how given he is back to the smaller communities. I love his Real Creators channel as well, giving tips and helpful insights into YouTube. I really appreciate, because he's 200,000, maybe almost 300,000 subscribers at this point. He doesn't need to do that, but he chooses to do that to help us little guys out, and I just appreciate that. I think that's really, really admirable of him, and I just really like his content as well. I do like Film Stock. I don't watch him as often as I would like Chris Stuckman or Sean Chandler or Jeremy Johns, but I do watch Film Stock from time to time. I like him. I like him as well. I like his stuff as well, and he grew so fast. Like, he was incredible. I'm not gonna lie, Doomblazer doesn't ring a bell. I'm not too familiar with Doomblazer, at least not off the name. 80s Kid from the 90s. No to Grinch. I really don't like the idea. No, I really don't. You know, I'm the same. I really don't want them to do Grinch. I think Grinch 2 would be a terrible decision. But you know what? If they don't get Jim Carrey, maybe they do it. Maybe they do a direct-to-streaming movie with Larry the Cable Guy as the Grinch. You know, maybe. You never know. We'll see what happens. Nathan's random movies. As someone who is a big fan of Dumb and Dumber 3 sounds stupid to me. Stupid? I get what you mean, man. Yeah, it sounds stupid. I mean, look, Dumb and Dumber 2, they got the characters wrong. And I don't really know whose fault it is. I think it's everybody's fault. I think it's director. I think it's Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, even the way that they perform it. Because in the first Dumb and Dumber movie, they were stupid, and sometimes they had moments where they came off as jerks, but it was always in a naive kind of way. It was always in this kind of innocence of just how stupid they were. And they also weren't like they didn't have any brain to them. Like that great scene in the diner where Lloyd is able to trick the waitress into making them think that sea bass bought their drinks. You know, like, that shows that they have like intelligence where like street smarts almost, but like just with everything else in the world, yeah, they're dumb. Whereas in Dumb and Dumber 2, they took that innocence and they took that naiveness and they lost it, and they just came across, especially since they were older. I don't think it played as well since they were also older. They came across as just buffoons. Like, they didn't even come across as real people. Like, there are real moments in Dumb and Dumber, like the scene where Lloyd is telling Harry that, like, he wants to go find the girl because he's sick and tired of inking his way through life and not having somebody. Like, that's a real moment between a character. Like, yeah, it ends in a laugh when he's crying in Jeff Daniels' arms and Jeff Daniels pushes him off. Absolutely. But they had real character moments. They felt like real people, even under all their cartoony stupidity. And in Dumb and Dumber 2, they lost all that. They lost the humanity. They lost the likeness, the likableness, and they just became fully cartoon, wacky, goofy. They didn't even feel like real people. And if they can get that back, if they can find a way to harness what made Lloyd and Harry so likable in the first film, but also make it applicable to the age that they are at today, if they can find a way to do that, I actually do think a Dumb and Dumber 3 could be funny. I actually think a Dumb and Dumber 3 could be a good idea. But unfortunately, the track record we've seen isn't great. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm not gonna say that Dumb and Dumber 3 is a terrible idea right now. Would I be curious to see it? Not necessarily. But if they made one, I'd be there day one. Let's just put it that way. Oh, we just got a super chat in here. We just got a super chat from Michael Entity. What's going on, man? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sending that in, man. That means a lot to me. Hey, Zach, I really wish you lived in Arizona. I would love to invite you to the premiere of my movie. Definitely got to find a time to collaborate. Absolutely, my guy. And that's awesome, man. Your movie's done and you're premiering it. That's great, man. That's awesome. Dude, I hope that goes well for you. I hope you have a fun time at the premiere. I hope that you get the reception that you're hoping to get. And thank you so much for supporting and helping out the channel in that way, man. I really appreciate that. It goes a long way for us, man. And I appreciate that, man. And I wish the best for your premiere. And hopefully we can see the movie soon. I don't know if you're planning on putting it on your YouTube channel or not, but hopefully we can see that movie soon. Let's see here. We got Hungry Movie Buff. I just recently watched Bruce Almighty for the first time the other night. Even though I was not a huge fan of the movie, it proved to me that he can turn any bad movie into an enjoyable one. I actually really like Bruce Almighty. To be honest, I think it's pretty clever. I think it's pretty fun, and I do like the message behind it. In the end, and Jim Carrey, he just kills it. He just kills it in the role. And even a movie like you were saying here, like even a bad movie, he can turn into an enjoyable one. Absolutely. I mean, Yes Man. Yes Man, anybody? Yes Man's not great. Yes Man's not a great movie, but I really like Jim Carrey in it. I like watching Jim Carrey in it. I think he's great. You know, one of the movies that I forgot to mention when asked about my favorite Jim Carrey movies, Truman Show. The Truman Show is so good. I love The Truman Show, and it's so ahead of its time. So that's definitely got to be up there, man. Mr. Teach Film Preach reviews. Jim Carrey is one of my favorite comedian actors too, Zach. I knew you were awesome. My best friend and I used to quote the entire Dumb and Dumber Ace Ventura movies from start to finish. He is a goat. That's awesome, man. Yeah, there's definitely stuff that I still quote from Jim Carrey. From Dumb and Dumber is just so quotable. We got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off. Like, it's just, there's so many great stuff in there, and even like the subtle humor too. Like, I love when Harry first tells him like, my pet bird Petey, he died. What happened? His head fell off. Like, just the sincerity of it, it just makes me laugh, and just like, oh, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later. Like, it's just so quotable. It's just so great. Yeah, I love those movies, man. I'm glad you do too. I'm glad we can geek out and talk about Jim Carrey movies. Michael 101591 says the Grinch does not need a sequel. What else could they do? Exactly, right? He's gonna steal another. Like, oh, I've now come around to liking Christmas. What? There's this thing called Hanukkah? Well, I gotta steal that too. Or there's this thing called Thanksgiving? I gotta steal that too. What was that? I don't know. I apologize. I don't know what that impression was, but anyways. Michael 101591 says that was back in 2000, 23 years ago. 23 years ago. Good point. Yeah, even longer. Even longer. Age from the 90s says, good night, everyone. Well, good night, man. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. The show was made better because you were part of it, man. And I appreciate you, dude. Have a good night. Y Hook says, hi. Well, hello, Y Hook. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for being here. Mr. Teach Film Preach Reviews says Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas is one of the best Christmas movies to watch on Christmas Eve. That and Die Hard. Yeah, I watch Jim Carrey's The Grinch every year. I do. I have been watching it every year since I was a kid. It's a big thing in my house, in my like family, and in our household growing up. We always watched The Grinch. Loved it. It was just great. It was so much fun. I know I when I got older, I realized that not everyone felt that way about The Grinch. Some people did not like it, but yeah, I liked it. I'm actually not sure. We just got something through here. I'm not quite sure what this is. Oh crap. Spoiler Kings. What is this? Spoiler Kings gifted 5 Zach Milne Talks Movies memberships. Well, thank you so much. You gifted them to Frankie, 80s Kid from the 90s, On My Mind Entertainment, Phil TMNT, and Michael Gallup. You guys all got remember? Well, that's awesome, dude. I didn't even know that you could do that, but thank you so much, man. That's so generous of you guys. That's awesome. And welcome, members. Welcome to Spoiler Kings here says Spoiler King says, spreading the love. Well, guys, that's incredible. Thank you so much. That's amazing. That's awesome. I was not expecting that, to be honest. So that's awesome. Where are we at? We're at Michael 101591. I don't know why Jim Carrey's Grinch film gets hated on. I enjoyed it when I saw it when it comes out. When I really put on my critic hat and like got deep into it, I could see why people have problems with it. There's a lot of things wrong with the movie, but from nostalgia, like, I just love it. Michael 101591 says, I don't even want a Dumb and Dumber 3. We don't need it. I'll be fine if we don't get it, to be honest. Frankie Beastmaker says, Zach, I got movie time 14 more subscribers. He has 110 and some other people help. Movie time, you got movie time minute 14 more subscribers. He has 110 and some other people help. So movie time, DJ hit it. DJ hit 100 subscribers. All right, guys. Yes, this community is awesome, guys. You did that. That's amazing. I hope that DJ gets to see that in the morning. That's awesome. Frankie Beastmaker. I didn't mind Dumb and Dumber 2, but it was definitely nowhere near as good as number 1. I think the comedy still worked. I think it was really funny, but the story was just not it for me. 2.3 out of 5. Yeah, I think the story was pretty. I mean, they just kind of rinsed and repeated a lot of familiar beats from the first film, which wasn't a big issue. I do feel like the movie kind of plateaus once you get to the science convention. I feel like it becomes instantly less funny. I just don't feel a lot of the bits in that worked. But the road trip stuff has always been my favorite part of the Dumb and Dumber films. And there's some legit great moments in Dumb and Dumber 2 with those road trip parts. MNX Live says, hi, big fan, bro. Well, he says, hi, big fan, bro. Well, thank you for being here tonight, MNX Live. Thank you for joining us, and I really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. I'm glad to have you here. Michael 101591 says, Liar Liar is Jim Carrey's best movie to me and is my favorite of his. I just love his performance. I think his physical comedy is at its peak in Liar Liar. Like when you watch him as a performer in Liar Liar, you just watch his decisions that he's making, the way that he's moving, and you know, it's not as easy as he makes it look to try and act like you're trying not to say something, but it's just coming forced out of you. And I feel like Jim Carrey does a fantastic job at doing that in that movie. I think it's a little underrated. Nathan Van Movie says, what are your favorite Jim Carrey films? I've already named a couple, but to name a couple more, I would say definitely The Truman Show, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura. The Mask is definitely up there. The Mask. Let's see here. The Grinch is up there. And I'm sure there's one that I'm forgetting. I'm gonna kick myself for forgetting. But yeah, I like a lot of Jim Carrey movies. Frankie Beastmaker says, my pick for the best Guardians of the Galaxy is Volume 3. My favorite's actually Volume 2. On a rewatch, I really like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. See for yourself. What's going on, Ken? Thanks for joining us tonight, man. One of our beloved channel members. Happy to have you here. On your left, such a great moment, dude. Such a great moment. DJ Movie Time Minute. He's just jumping back in to say real quick, between all of y'all and everyone in Zack Attack stream, I passed 100 tonight. I'm in little tears. Thank you all so much. Oh, dude, that's amazing. Dude, I was going to say thank you. Thank you guys for getting him there and supporting him. And congratulations, DJ. Congratulations on all that hard work paying off. 100 subscribers, man. Your first 100 subscribers. That's awesome, dude. Only up from here. Only up from here, dude. See for yourself says, my favorite Jim Carrey movie is The Truman Show. Nice. Very good pick. Ken said, I'm just going to call him Ken now. His best movie is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Definitely one of his best. I agree with that. Frankie Peacemaker said, my favorite movie of Jim Carrey is Dumb and Dumber. Mr. Popper's Penguins is okay, not too bad. Liar Liar, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2, and The Spotless Mind. Very good picks, man. Very good picks. Michael 101591 says, Good Burger 2 comes out in November. Well, there you go, guys. I mean, we don't get Dune, but we get Good Burger 2. That's a good trade-off, right? The Jay Shrayway, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining us tonight. Happy to have you here. Yes Man is super underrated too. Yes Man, yeah, okay. Like I said, I don't think it's a great movie, but Jim Carrey definitely makes up for it. Ken says Fun with Dick and Jane is underrated. That wasn't too bad, actually. I remember watching that. That wasn't too bad. Frankie Peacemaker, I love them with Dick and I love Fun with Dick and Jane. We can put it that as well. All right, we can put that in as well. Absolutely. Nathan Driner Movie says, what are your favorite and least favorite shows of the year? My ranking of a few that I have seen from worst to best is Mando, Fuber, Secret Invasion, Barry Season 4, and in first is The Last of Us. I haven't watched... Okay, I will say my favorite show that I'm watching right now is The Bear. I'm watching The Bear Season 2 right now on Disney+. Really, really enjoying it. I don't know. My least favorite show... Honestly, and you guys are going to be like, oh, this again, but I'm going to say it. iCarly Season 3. I think iCarly Season 3 has been their worst season. I just sit there and drool. It's not funny. It's not particularly well acted. I think Nathan Kress does the best job, and it's just painful. It's just painful to watch, and I put myself through it because I loved iCarly as a kid, and every time I come to an episode, I hope that it's going to make me laugh. I hope that it's going to be good, and it's just not. I think the writing's awful. I think it's a bad show, and that's going to be my worst. I'm sorry. Yet, I will be watching Season 4. I'm the problem. The Minus Edits. What's going on? Thank you for joining us, Minus Edits. Thanks for being here. What is your favorite shark movie? It's got to be Jaws, right? It's got to be Jaws. If Jaws cannot be included, because that's kind of like, cheating, because Jaws is the GOAT. Jaws, if not Jaws, I'll go with The Shallows. I think The Shallows is an underrated shark film with Blake Lively, stuck on a rock, surrounded by a shark. I really enjoyed that film. Granted, I haven't watched it in a while, but I really enjoyed that. The minus edit says, by the way, my favorite is Meg 2, The Trench. Dude, that's awesome. I'm glad you love that movie, man. I'm glad you enjoyed that movie. I had a good time with it. Have you seen that with T? Says, salutations, Zach. Well, salutations to you, too. Thank you for joining us, man. Thanks for being here. And we'll go Jason Entertainment. Hey, Zach, I was wondering, what is the movie that made you realize movies can be bad? You seriously got me with that question, but it's a brilliant one. Yeah, I like that question, man. So for me, the movie that made me realize that movies could be bad was either Jack and Jill or Grown Ups 2. I can't quite remember which one I watched first, but and not a knock on Adam Sandler, by the way. I think Adam Sandler is really starting to find a stride in the movies that he's making nowadays. But yeah, 2011, Jack and Jill, not good. And I remember Grown Ups 2 a little bit more distinctively because I did like Grown Ups. Like, I really liked Grown Ups, especially when Grown Ups came out. And I still like Grown Ups today. I think it's an okay movie. But I really liked Grown Ups. And then I remember watching my family, we all rented Grown Ups 2. And I remember watching Grown Ups 2, and I remember specifically, it was the scene where David Spade's character gets in that tire and it rolls down the hill, and it becomes this rubberized CGI tire bouncing around. And I remember watching that tire fall down the road, and I remember thinking to myself, this isn't good. Like, it was kind of the first time that I kind of cautiously was like, this isn't a good movie. I don't think I'm enjoying this, actually. This is a weird feeling. I don't like this movie. So that's kind of one of the first ones that really pops into my mind when I get asked that question. But I appreciate that, man. Thanks for throwing that back at me. And I'll be looking forward to see what you guys say in the chat below. Tell me what movie made you realize that movies can be bad. I'd love to hear it. Before we move on, before we get to the rest of these comments and questions, let's move on to our final topic of the night, guys. And the final topic of the night, we'll get this there. There we go. The final topic of the night is this. So, one of the big stories, one of the big issues that's kind of starting to come out in Hollywood is evolving around the VFX artists. The VFX artists are really starting to speak up. They're really starting to tell their stories of just the harsh and stressful and straight up abusive situations that they are put in sometimes by these studios, being forced to pump out the CGI for their movies, for their TV shows, especially with the abundance of movies and TV shows that we have nowadays. Some of the stories honestly sound like horror stories. They sound depressing. They sound sad. No one should be treated the way that they're treated. And we have some movement from the Disney VFX artists that they're actually making history. They're making an historic movement. They have voted. They've put a vote together to unionize. This comes to us from the Hollywood Reporter, and they had to say this. After filing with the NLRB, an election could occur in 2 to 3 weeks for these Disney workers, according to IATSE. If a majority of workers vote to unionize, the studio, which didn't voluntarily recognize the effort, according to the union, would then be called upon to begin good faith negotiations for a union contract. Disney did not immediately respond to a request for a comment. So basically what this is saying is these workers have gotten together. They want to start a union. And they have come together and they have basically said, yes, we want to move forward with starting a union. So they're taking votes right now. Of all their VFX artists at Disney, and if the majority do say yes, we want to start a union, they will go into negotiations with Disney. Now it goes on to say the workers are calling for fair compensation for all hours worked, adequate health care, retirement benefits, and more generally the same rights and protections afforded to their unionized coworkers who are already represented by IATSE, according to the union. So this is historic because this is the second time that this has ever happened, and the first time was only a couple weeks ago. Marvel, the VFX artists over at Marvel have done this. They have come forward and they have put forth their votes to unionize. Now this is fantastic. Honestly, this is a long time coming, I think, because you listen to these stories, as I mentioned before, and these guys, they're sleeping at work. They're working 24 hours straight. They work until they go to sleep, and then they wake up and they immediately go back to their computer pads. And these guys are living, these VFX artists, the ones that, I mean, the writers, yes, they are foundational to making a movie happen. But a lot of days, you need these VFX artists to make your movie happen. I mean, if you don't have these VFX artists, if you don't have these CGI creations and green screens and all this stuff done, you've got nothing. So the fact that these VFX artists have been treated like dirt and have just been overworked and pushed and pushed and pushed by these studios, and they didn't even have health care? They didn't even have benefits. They didn't have a retirement fund going. Like, the fact that these guys, I mean, you listen to even Across the Spider-Verse workers, like, they were working 40-hour weeks, maybe even more than that. And you listen to all these stories of these people that were just, like, trying to grind and get it out, and then Disney comes to them and is like, oh, you just spent like 17 hours doing that? We're cutting that scene. Can you replace it with this now? Like, the way that they are treated, it makes it's so, in a way of like, disposable. It makes them feel disposable, you know? And it's such a horrible way to treat your employees. And the fact is too, and this is just a reality, this is a fact, these workers are in unprecedented times. We have way more visual effects work required than they can handle, and this is like the first time in history that we've ever had that. Just look at Disney Plus, look at HBO Max, look at Paramount Plus, look at just general TV. There are so many high quality effects being put into TV shows today like never before, let alone the movies coming from the big studios where they need, like, I don't know, 20 movies done per studio each year of high visual effects, probably even more. These guys are making a huge impact in the VFX industry by doing this, not only for themselves, but for the upcomers, those who are studying, those who are working towards becoming VFX artists in the future. They're going to have a much nicer future because of these guys. Now, will this go through? Will the negotiations go their way? Well, if they do start a union, they could potentially go on strike too if they wanted to, if Disney wasn't treating them, if negotiations didn't go well. But honestly, this is one of those stories where you read it and you just kind of feel proud for these people, looking out for the people coming behind them that are going to be taking their places and just taking care of themselves. Like, you just want to applaud them. Like, good job, guys. Good job taking this step, this historic step. It's incredible. It's incredible, and I really hope that it goes their way because these visual effects artists, they really deserve it. Anyway, guys, that's all my thoughts. What do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of these VFX artists that are voting to unionize? Comment down below. Let me know all your thoughts and opinions about this. I'd love to talk about it with you. And without further ado, let's go back and see what you guys are saying about this. And with that, guys, that was our last topic of the night. Like I said, very slow news week. I'm not going to lie. I scrambled. I dug. I looked under the couch. I looked under the carpet. I tried to find something. These were what I came up with. So hopefully more news comes out next week. But you know what? It probably won't because we're in the middle of strikes. So we're just going to take your live comments and questions now for however long you guys want to go for, as long as we'll go for. And we'll head back in here. We'll start with Frankie Beastmaker. And he says, ranking movie account, I know number 5 go to ranking movies account. I know number 5 go to number 3 time number 4 film stock number. Ranking movie YouTube accounts. I know number 5 goes to movie 3 time number. Number 4 goes to film stock. Number 3 goes to Doom Blazer. Number 2 is Sean Chandler, and number 1 is me. I'm your favorite movie account, dude. You made me cry. That's amazing. That's real. That really is. That means a lot to me, man. I really appreciate that. That was so kind and nice of you to send in, man. You just made my night. Thank you so much, Frankie. That was so kind. All right, what else do you guys? What do you guys got? How are you gonna top that? No, I'm kidding. Zach Attacks Reviews, my buddy Zach. Hey Zach. Well, hey Zach. Thanks for joining us. Coming off of your amazing stream, dude. I loved your stream. It was brilliant. Going back, watching your old videos, seeing how far you've come. So much fun and so interactive, man. I loved it. So thank you for jumping on over here and joining us as well. Spoiler Kings, what's going on, guys? Thanks for joining us, and thank you again for the channel membership gifts. That was so incredibly nice of you. Just came from one awesome Zach stream to another awesome Zach stream. Aw, thanks, man. Thank you so much. Zach Attacks Review says, me too. Zackapalooza. Zackapalooza. Zach Attacks Review says he loves Bruce Almighty. That's awesome, dude. I really enjoy it too. I think it's a good little movie. Have you seen that with T? Says Bruce Almighty was good. Evan Almighty, on the other hand, not so much. Yeah, Evan Almighty wasn't very good. Poor Steve Carell. I mean, he had that one funny scene in Bruce Almighty where he's messing with his speech and stuff, but he did not need a spin-off movie, and it was just kind of weird reenacting Noah's Ark and stuff. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that one. Have you seen that with T? Says Truman Show is a classic. Completely agree. Michael 101591 says I love the Truman Show. It's a masterpiece. I completely agree. Zach Attacks Review says what's the most surprising film of the year for you? I think it's probably still Dungeons and Dragons. I think Dungeons and Dragons is still the most surprising because I wasn't anticipating it because I didn't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, and I wasn't sure how accessible it was going to be for me as a newcomer. It ended up being great. It ended up being a lot of fun. It ended up being way funnier than I thought it was going to be. The cast was fantastic. Really liked the story too. I think it's Dungeons and Dragons. Absolutely. Frankie Beastmaker. So, Zach, I do not like the Truman Show. It just wasn't funny to me. I thought it was kind of silly, like them recording him. You guys like it, but I think it's overrated. I'm sorry. Well, that's fair, man. That's fair. It's all subjective. I mean, yeah, the Truman Show is definitely a departure for Jim Carrey, especially at the time when he made it. It's not very funny. There's a couple funny moments in it, but it's definitely more of a drama, and I think they play it very straight, and I like that. I think it's a fun commentary on reality TV and our obsession with reality TV and watching people on TV. I think it was very smart with the commentary and the discussions that it started with that. But hey, if it didn't work for you, it didn't work for you, man, and that's totally okay. Movie Time Minute says, well, I'm wide awake now. This night has been crazy. Dude, I'm so happy for you. You deserve it, man. You totally earned that, man. I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad that we got you there tonight, man. Nathan's Random Movie says, are you excited for The Killer, the new Fincher film releasing on Netflix in November? Like I mentioned before, I haven't watched the trailer. I saw that the trailer dropped, but I haven't watched it, so I don't really know much about it, but it's a new Fincher film, so I'm going to say yes. I'm looking forward to that. Zach Attacks Reviews says, gonna pull a Preston. Watch, Burn, Keep. The Truman Show, Bruce Almighty, and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Okay, I'm gonna have to, dang. I'm gonna burn Eternal Sunshine only because I don't rewatch it as often as the other one. So I'm gonna burn Eternal Sunshine. I'm going to watch Bruce Almighty, and I'm gonna keep the Truman Show. That would be mine. Spoiler Kings once again gifting 5 memberships. Amazing. Thank you guys so much for that. Zach Attacks Reviews says, make sure everyone likes the video. Aw, dude, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Frankie Beastmaker says, movie time, look at your subs. Yep, he got 100. We're so proud of him. Spoiler King says, I didn't get to pick. It was auto, so no favorites. Oh, okay, so you just sent him out to rent. That's awesome. That's really awesome. See for yourself, the Spoiler Kings are the goats, man. You guys really are. That was incredible. Sag Attacks Reviews says they definitely are a bunch of Mount Rushmore goats. I love that. Zach Attacks Reviews says, congrats to DJ. He did it on my stream. Awesome. That's fantastic. Mr. Teach Film Preach Reviews says, I'm heading out, Zach. Keep up the great live streams. Always love watching your channel. Cheers, man. Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate those kind words. I appreciate the encouragement. That means so much to me. And thank you for stopping by. It was a pleasure. It was awesome having you here, man. The show was made better because you were a part of it, and I appreciate you, dude. Have a great night. Or day, wherever you are. I'm not sure. Toxic Gamer 331, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining us tonight. Sorry I'm a little late to the stream, Zach. I got done watching The Monkey King with the fam. Do not recommend. Well, good to know, man. And you don't ever have to apologize for being late. Like I always tell you guys, I'm just thankful that you guys even are dedicating your time to this. You guys could be doing anything else that you want to be doing, and instead you guys have decided that you want to come and join me to talk about some movies, and that's not lost on me. I'm so grateful for that, man. So all you have to say is, I'm here. You're welcome, dude. And I will thank you. I will say thank you with all my heart. Movie Time Minutes in. I just love the emojis. I love that, the Spider-Man emoji. That's so much fun, dude. Thanks for using that, dude. That puts a smile on my face. Thanks, man. Toxic Gamer 331 says, also, how's your day been, Zach? It's been good. I had a good day today. Work was a little crazy, but overall, I had a good time. Thanks for asking, dude. How was your day? Toxic Gamer goes on to say, "Oh, I've been meaning to ask you, Zach. What are your top 5 guilty pleasure movies?" Man, guilty pleasure movies. Those are hard for me to pull out. I mean, The Cat in the Hat is pretty guilty pleasure-y because it's not very good. I don't know. There's some movies that I would call guilty pleasure that I think some people would just call, good movies. Like, I think The Three Amigos with Steve Martin and Martin Short could be a guilty pleasure. I don't think that's a really good movie, but I think it's pretty funny. Tommy Boy, is that a guilty pleasure? I don't think that's a great movie, but I find that movie kind of funny. I enjoy that movie. Yeah, there's a couple. There's a couple for you. I don't know. I'll try to think of more. Spoiler Kings. Jim Carrey made Liar Liar a way better movie than what it should have been. Completely agree. Completely agree. Those are just facts. I completely agree with that. Michael 101591 says, "Ever seen Jim Carrey's The Number 23? I have not. I heard it wasn't very good, so I avoided it. But have you seen that with Tia saying The Number 23 is underrated? So there you go. Maybe I gotta check it out. Spoiler Kings. Oh, by the way, Spoiler Kings, our beloved channel members. Thank you guys. Yes, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was so freaking good. I love that one too. Oh man, I'm glad I'm not alone. Yeah, it didn't used to be my favorite. My favorite was the first one, and then on a rewatch, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 just hit a different way. I really enjoyed it. Frankie Beastmaker said, you know what, Zach, you said Volume 2 is your favorite. Okay, you know what, Zach, you said Volume 2 is your favorite, but we have different opinions. But I think number 2 is the worst one in the movies. But I still like it. Just let me down more than the 1 and the 3. Hey, you know what? I think you're in the majority there, man. I think I'm in the minority. I don't think number 2 is that beloved by a lot of people. Like, I'm in the minority. I have it 2, Guardians 1, then Guardians 3. And I know a lot of people love Guardians 3. Like, Guardians 3 is their number 1. Some people have Guardians Volume 3 as their number 1 favorite MCU movie overall. And I didn't love the movie as much as everyone else. Like, that's just how it went for me. I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. I own it on Blu-ray. I've watched it. It's great. But yeah, it's of the trilogy, it is my least favorite. And I've talked about why many times, but I won't indulge too much in there. Toxic Gamer 331. The Mask movie is probably my favorite Jim Carrey movie, or How the Grinch Stole Christmas, even though The Mask is more comedic and not as dark and violent as the graphic novels. Yeah, I never read the graphic novels, but the Mask is such a wacky, crazy movie. Like Jim Carrey is really the only thing that really makes that movie work. Like, that movie's kind of a mess when you like really look at it, but Jim Carrey as the Mask character, Cameron Diaz in there too. Like, she's great. The villain at the end is kind of, I don't really care, but it's a fun movie. I really enjoy The Mask. I love all this Jim Carrey talk in the chat, by the way. I do not get to talk about Jim Carrey that often, so I really enjoy this. Ken is saying The Bear is fantastic. Yes, it is. Completely agree. Ken says Ken says my least favorite show is Secret Invasion. I loved it all the way up to episode 6. Secret Invasion is not my least favorite show. I would definitely put it above Mandalorian season 3. I enjoyed it. I'm like you. I enjoyed it all the way up to episode 6. Episode 6 was kind of a letdown. It took me from like really enjoying the show to just kind of like, it was all right. But I still enjoyed Secret Invasion. Ken says favorite shark movie is Deep Blue Sea. Nice. Toxic Gamer 331 says, what are some movies you think are underrated and overrated? Some movies I think are underrated. Underrated, I think, are Ryan Reynolds' Buried, I think, is a very underrated film. I think Sing Street. If you guys haven't seen Sing Street, I think it's an Irish film. I can't remember. Very sweet coming of age story of a kid who starts a band to get his crush get with this girl. Really good movie. Really good music too. I love the soundtrack of Sing Street. So those are 2 very underrated films. Overrated films. That's a really good question. Let's see here. What's something overrated that some people love, but I'm not the biggest. I think The Shining's a little overrated, if I'm being honest. I like it. And I get, like, it also comes with the times. Like, when The Shining came out, like, it was a revolutionary film for this reason and that reason. I get that. In my current time, in 2023, or I think it was 2019 when I watched it, I enjoyed it. I did think it was a little overrated. But that's just me, right? So I'll do that one for now. Jason Entertainment. Shallows is an underrated movie. Glad you brought that one up. Yeah, Shallows is very underrated. I remember watching that in theaters, and it was just like a little theater in town that no one really goes to, but they were playing it, and I went and checked it out, and I didn't really think much of it. I just kind of wanted to watch it for the sake of watching it. The trailers looked kind of interesting, and I ended up having a way better time with that movie than I thought I was gonna have. I really enjoyed that movie. Michael 1015 says, I haven't even watched the iCarly reboot. Look, man, if you want my advice, don't. Just don't. I mean, I enjoy the iCarly reboot in a way that it's kind of like checking up on a friend's Facebook account. You know? It's like you hung out with them when you were a kid. You want to see what they're up to now. You go to their Facebook account. You know, it's like, oh, in some ways they're the same. In other ways they aren't. And, you know, sometimes you look at them and you're like, oh, why are you making that life decision? Oh, why are you making that decision? You know what I mean? That's kind of what it's like for me to watch iCarly. You know, it's like I loved these characters since 2007. It was my favorite show as a kid. I watch it and I'm like, oh, man, like, what happened to you guys? Oh, like, why are you doing that now? Like, I don't know. I can't explain it. I'm addicted to the pain. I'm addicted to the pain, I guess. But this season, like last season was an improvement. It wasn't good, but it was an improvement over season 1. This season has just been like desperate. It's been cheap, in my opinion, and not funny and not good. The minus edits. Yep, the first Jaws was a masterpiece. The sequel sucked a lot. Oh yeah, the Jaws movies, they just get worse and worse with Ethan. Like Jaws is great. Jaws 2 is okay. And then it's like Jaws 3 is not that good, and then Jaws 4 is just bad. Like they just get worse and worse and worse. The only one I own and the only one I watch is Jaws 1. Ken says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 is when I realized movies could be bad. I wish I could say that, but I watched Ninja Turtles 3 when I was a kid. I mean, I always knew that it wasn't the one I would gravitate towards. Like I always gravitated towards the first film and the second film. And when I was in like grade 1 or 2, I gravitated towards the second film a lot. When I got a little bit like grade 3, grade 4, I started to gravitate towards the 1991 a lot more. But Turtles 3 would get put on every once in a while, but not very often. I'll say that. Not very often. Michael 101591 says Jack and Jill is a guilty pleasure. I remember seeing that in the theater. Nice, dude. That's a good guilty pleasure. Toxic Gamer 331, are you going to be seeing the Equalizer 3, Zach? I am maybe going to be seeing it. I need to be able to watch 1 and 2 first because I haven't seen any of the Equalizers. But if I manage to work 1 and 2 into my schedule, then I will go see Equalizer 3. One guilty pleasure movie actually for me, guys, is superhero movie. Superhero movie with Drake Bell. And I can't remember any of the other people's names, but it's like one of those terrible parody movies that came out during the times of like Meet the Spartans and Not Another Teen Movie and all that kind of stuff. I like it. I like it for the pure fact that it's a parody of the superhero films that I grew up with, like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. You got a little bit of Fantastic Four, the Tim Story ones in there. So that's a guilty pleasure for me for sure. Superhero movies a big guilty pleasure. I like that movie. Batman is also parodied in that. Frankie Beastmaker says, hot take, but it was James and the Giant Peach. The movie made me feel like that movie can be so bad along with berries. Oh, okay, so you didn't like James and the Giant Peach. My wife showed me James and the Giant Peach for the very first time, like last year. And that is a bizarre movie. Like, obviously, I was not a kid when I watched it. I was only last year I was 22, so it didn't hit me the same way as it would for a kid. I thought it was very creative, but not one I'm going to gravitate towards very often. Let's just say that. Toxic Gamer 331. The first movie I think I realized movies could be bad was Diary of a Wimpy Kid: The Long Haul, the #1 movie I utterly despise. Yeah, that's disappointing, man. That's when they did the reboot, right? That's when they brought in the new Roderick, the new Greg, the new everybody. The last one I watched was Dog Days, Diary of a Wimpy Kid Dog Days. Even that one wasn't that great. But yeah, I enjoyed those Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies when I was younger. So the first one, I always liked the second one, Roderick Rules, a little bit more. I always thought it was a little bit funnier. The cast I thought was a little bit funnier in that one. But yeah, Dog Days was okay. But I never did. I did not care to watch The Long Haul. I knew I wasn't gonna like it, so I didn't even bother. Zach Attacks Reviews. Zach talking straight facts. Ken saying Zach is right about Zach. That's really funny. Nathan's Random Movies. How much longer do you think the writer's strike will go on? Oh, man, who knows? Who knows? It's tricky. I mean, like I said, the negotiations haven't been... They finally came back to the table, but it doesn't sound like the negotiations are going all that well, unfortunately. So, I don't know. I don't know, man. Because you've also got... yeah, I don't know. Because November is like Thanksgiving, so if they don't get something done by November, the industry basically all shuts down for the holidays anyways. If I'm optimistic, I will say the writer's strike will get settled by the end of September and October at the latest. And if I'm being pessimistic, I think it could go till next year. But I don't think it will go to next year. I feel like end of September... From the end of September to the end of October, I think is the window for it to get resolved. Let's just say that. But that's like based off really nothing. That's just based off like, hearsay of what I'm hearing in the news and stuff. So we'll see what actually happens with that. But I hope it doesn't last much longer. Where are we at? Ken, I loved Across the Spider-Verse. With that being said, I don't need anyone to put themselves through that for my entertainment. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is like, you get the argument that, what the studios did to those workers, what they did to those VFX and animators, what they did to them did result in a fantastic product for us, the fans. Like, the hardship and the abuse, it's abuse. Let's just be honest. A lot of it's abuse. Abuse to them gave us a great movie. But it's like, at what cost, right? Those are human beings. Like, those are human people who are, like, right now, they're sitting in front of monitors, probably with red shot eyes, with tons of Red Bulls around them, trying to get the finished product done for Beyond the Spider-Verse, maybe. I think they can still work. Yeah, I think they can still work. Yeah, it's just, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Toxic Gamer 331. Do you think there will be another Jurassic movie in the next 10 or 5 years? I'll give 10 years. I don't know about 5 years. I feel 5 years is kind of short. I think within a decade, I could see it. I think within a decade, that's enough time to, maybe do a reboot of the reboot or just remake it entirely. But, yeah, I mean, that even the last movie, Jurassic World Dominion, which I do not think is a good movie. I know some of you enjoy it. I know a lot of you guys enjoy it, and that's great. More power to you. Glad you do. I do not. So the fact that I didn't enjoy it makes it baffling to me that even that movie made $1 billion at the worldwide box office. Jurassic World Dominion made over $1 billion. The studios are not going to let that go, you know? Like, every Jurassic World movie made $1 billion. There will be another Jurassic World or another Jurassic Park of some sort in the future. I don't know about 5, but I'll give it 10 years. Spoiler King says, D&D was so awesome. I completely agree. Nathan's Random Movies, what are the absolute worst movies of the year to you thus far? I mean, I haven't seen anything truly awful because I've kind of been avoiding the really bad movies that people have been talking about, and maybe I have to start watching some of those to get a better range or better variety. But I will say the one that I've enjoyed the least that I watched was Peter Pan and Wendy. And last night, my wife put on for a little bit this movie on Netflix called The Outlaws with Adam Devine. Adam Devine was insufferable in that movie. I only got through like 10 minutes and then I was kind of out. So I can't really say that was the worst movie I watched because I didn't really finish it. But in that way, that might be the worst movie I watched because I didn't finish it. So we'll go with that. Toxic Gamer 331. Dungeons and Dragons was great. It shocked me how much I love it. The only negative I have for the movie is I think the evil witch as the villain. Yeah, the evil witch as the villain, and it wasn't a great villain. I enjoyed Hugh Grant much more as the villain in that movie than I did the witch. But yeah, such a fun movie. Loved it. The graveyard scene alone had me in stitches in the theater. I loved that scene so much. Spoiler King says, The Truman Show was way ahead of its time. Completely agree. Frankie says, I got you 2 more subs. Well, thank you so much, man. I don't know where you're getting these people from, if they're your family members or friends or what, but thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate that. Supporting the channel in that way and getting the word out. Toxic Gamer 331. Truman Show I think is good. I watched it for the first time I think earlier this year. I don't think it's great though, but it is good and has some funny moments. Yeah, I mean that's fair, man. I think it's really good. I really enjoy it. And I'm glad that you enjoyed it, man. Frankie Beastmaker, do you think Mr. Beast is gonna hit 1 billion subscribers? Man, that's a big number. What is he at right now? He's like 10. No, he's more than 10 million. He's at 100 something million, right? He's at I'm not gonna look that up because that's gonna take too long. But he's like over 100 million subscribers, isn't he? So, I don't know. Eventually, if he keeps going the way he's going, I mean, he's a pretty smart guy, got a lot of eyes on him. It's hard to imagine him having more eyes on him. He's already the biggest thing in YouTube. But yeah, if he keeps going, if he keeps working at it, I'm sure he could. I wouldn't put it past him. Mr. Beast is the beast for a reason. Toxic Gamer 331 says, what do you think about Dune Part 2 and Wonka getting pushed to next year? Did Wonka officially get pushed to next year? I don't remember seeing that. You're the second person to mention Wonka being pushed as well. So, did it? I don't know. I'll have to look at that up. But as far as Dune Part 2 getting moved, we talked about it earlier in the show. What I will say is, yeah, it's a bummer, and it's definitely the greedy studios. That's why it got pushed. Ken says, the last 45 minutes of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is excellent. Yeah, I really like the Yondu and Rocket story. Like, I still have my gripes with Star-Lord and Ego. Like, for the most part, they're just kind of sitting on this planet waiting for the third act to happen. I do find though that the Yondu and Rocket story, I like it a little bit more, and on the rewatch, and even Nebula and Gamora's story I liked a little bit, and it also helps with we've seen where it's gone now, like we saw Infinity War and Endgame, so we know a little bit more of where their story goes, so I think that helped with my second viewing as well. But yeah, that last like battle within Ego, the Living Planet, really fun stuff, really good. Toxic Gamer 331 says Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is my favorite out of the trilogy, and the other two are tied for me right now. I would have to think. Nice, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it that much. Zach Attacks Review says time for me to hit the hay. Awesome stream as always. Onwards to 2.5 thousand subs. You killed that last topic. Well, thank you so much, man. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate you being here, my brother. And hey, the show is made better because you were a part of it, man. And congratulations again on 600 subs. So have a great night. Toxic Gamer 331. Do you buy Jim Carrey is retired from acting or no? Personally, I don't. I don't think Jim Carrey is retired. I think Jim Carrey is taking a break. I think he wants to be retired. But, you know, Jim Carrey, he's a comedic mind. He's a performer. I think he's going to... I know he has other ways to fuel his creativity with, like, his paintings and all that stuff. But I think there's going to come a day where Jim Carrey has that itch. You know, I want to get back on screen. I want to be goofy. I want to be silly. I think he's gonna. I don't know what I'm doing here, but that's just my Jim Carrey. No. I think he's gonna get looking. I think that he's going to at some point get the itch again to perform and do another movie. So I don't think he's fully retired, but I do think it'll be a little bit before we see him in another movie again. Ken says Buried is absolutely underrated. Yeah, man. I mean, probably my favorite Ryan Reynolds performance is Buried. I mean, it's a heartbreaking movie. I won't say why, but it's a heartbreaking movie. And yeah, I think it's very underrated. Toxic Gamer 331 says I liked The Shining as well. I'm glad you liked it, man. I liked it too. I just think it was a little overrated. Toxic Gamer 331 says really good. Toxic Gamer 331. I would have to think about saying it's great or not. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Frankie the Beastmaker says send the iCarly reboot. I thought the first few episodes... Oh, okay. The iCarly reboot, I thought the first few episodes were okay, but after that, it completely lost me. The show was so boring. Like, I don't know why they did this. I think the old show was a lot better. Agreed. Completely agree with you, man. I agree with everything you said. It's just not good. It's just not good. Ken says Saturday Night Fever is way overrated. The dancing is fine, but honestly, it's douchebag's guide to the galaxy. That's awesome. I love that. Toxic Gamer 331. By the way, Zach, when this year ends, what are you going to do for ranking movies of 2023? Yeah, so my plan for ranking, because I don't see everything, so there's a lot more people on the space who qualify and make way better videos of their top 10 best and top 10 worst. So what I like to what not what I like to do. I've done it once. I tried it last year. I think it went over really well. Is I ranked everything that I watched from worst to best, and I had seen over like 50 titles last year because I did not get out to the movies as much as I wanted to last year, but I've seen a lot this year. So at the end of this year, I do hopefully still plan to do a ranking of everything I watched from worst to best. It might be a harder video to make than last year, depending on how much I actually end up seeing, but that is my plan for the end of the year. Toxic Gamer 331 says Jaws: The Revenge is awful. I completely agree. Kind of funny though. It is kind of funny. Michael 101591 says Equalizer is a good movie. The second one I haven't seen. Well, that's good to hear. I've heard decent things about them, so I'm looking forward to checking them out. The minus edit says, "Welp, have some fun here. I gotta go to sleep." Well, thank you for joining us, guys, or dude. Thank you for being here. I really appreciated you being here, and the show was made better because you were a part of it, and I appreciate you. Have a great night. Have a great rest. Toxic Gamer 331. Literally nothing good about it except maybe Michael Caine actually treating it like a serious project. You talking about Jaws: The Revenge? I love the scene where he's in the plane and he just like nosedives and then brings him back up and nosedives and bring him back up. Like such a ridiculous scene, but he's having a ball and I loved it. Jason Entertainment says, thank you so much for your weekly streams, man. It's always fun to chat with you. Have a great night, man. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that, and I really appreciated you being here, Jason. I hope you have a great night, man. The show was made better because you were a part of it, and I appreciate you. Have a great night. Frankie Beastmaker, who is now a member, one of our beloved members, Frankie Beastmaker. Thank you for being a member. I think you got gifted, but thank you for being a member, man. Thank you for being here. Equalizer 1 was really good, and number 2 was actually good. Okay, awesome. So they're both good. That's good. That's something to look forward to. Toxic Gamer says, have you watched The Waltons, Zach? I have not. I've actually never heard of it. Toxic Gamer says, what is your top 5 favorite Tim Burton movies? So here's a hot take. I'm not a big fan of Tim Burton. I don't like a lot of his stuff. His top 5? I mean, I'd probably put Batman 1989 in there. I'll put Beetlejuice in there. Edward Scissorhands, but I think that's overrated. I think Edward Scissorhands is overrated. I'm not a big fan of that. I would put Nightmare Before Christmas, but Tom Selleck. No, was it Tom Selleck? Or is that the guy with the mustache? I can't remember. But someone else directed that, not Tim Burton. Let's see here. What's some other Tim Burton movies that I could put in? See, like it's hard because I'm not a big fan of his. Yeah, I don't like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I can only name like 3 movies that I kind of like from Tim Burton. And yeah, I have to stop there. I can only give you 3. I don't even know what 2 more would be that I like. Let's put James and the Giant Peach in there because I did think it was pretty. Oh no, he didn't direct that though. I don't know. Frankie Beastmaker, do you know 14-year-old did a Lego bit in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse? I did hear about that, and that was very cool. It was cool that they brought him on to do that. I bet that was a dream come true. Toxic Gamer says, Zach, I just realized you're getting closer and closer to your goal before the end of this year. We are. We are getting so close to our goal, guys. And if you haven't subscribed, if you're new, if you're enjoying the show, you like what you watch, and you like the community, you like engaging, hit the subscribe button. Come join us. We'd love to have you. We're on our way to 2,500. We have 339 to go. It's insane. We'd love to have you join us. And yeah, guys, we are getting so close. Michael 101591 says, I haven't seen the last 2 Jurassic Park films, but I liked the first. I don't want to see more films because what else can they do? They don't get much better. I mean, Fallen Kingdom's not good. I don't like Dominion. I think Dominion was worse than Fallen Kingdom. I can't say that I recommend them, to be honest. So if you want to watch them. Come to your own opinion. Come to your own conclusion. If you're asking me, I don't recommend them. Frankie Beastmaker, Dungeons & Dragons actually let me down. I liked the movie, but I went in with high expectations, and it let me down. I still like the movie, but it just didn't quite work for me as much as I wanted. Yeah, and it's all subjective, right? That totally is totally okay that it didn't work for you, and it worked really well for me. That's the fun about movies, right? That's one of the things that I really love about movies is we can go into the same room, watch the same thing on screen, see the exact same images, and come out either feeling exactly the same way as each other or coming out feeling like we just watched 2 separate movies. And that's when it's the most fun for me. I really love that. Whoops, we did jump there. Toxic Gamer 331. I'm surprised, Zach, that you haven't watched Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I haven't seen it either, by the way. But didn't you suggest Luke Ponto to watch that? No, I did not. Luke Ponto watched that on his own free will, and he hates it. If you bring up Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey to Luke Ponto, he will tell you just how much he hates it. He does not hesitate. No, I had no interest in watching Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. It was not up my alley at all. I'm sure if I watched it, I would have a goofy, fun time with it, maybe, but I'm not going out of my way to watch that. I got so many other things that I want to watch, and Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is way down on the list. Toxic Gamer 331. Mr. Beast is at 164 million. That makes sense. Or higher. He's almost at 200 million subscribers. Yeah, I believe it. Toxic Gamer 331. Yep. Also, Kong vs. Godzilla prequel got delayed too, but only by a month. Luckily for the people who wanted to see that. Yeah, but that was already coming out in 2024, so I didn't pay too much attention to that. Toxic Gamer 331. I'm going to head out now as well. Great stream as always, man. See you on the next one or the next review or the video that you do. Well, thank you for joining us, man. Thank you for always joining us here. I really appreciate you stopping by and giving us your time, man. And the show was made better because you were a part of it, and I appreciate you so much, dude. Have a great night. Michael 101591 says, iCarly is not the same without Jeanette McCurdy. I feel bad after the story she told about her time on the show with a certain creator. Yeah, there was some real revelations made with Jeanette McCurdy in her book, and I didn't read her book. I read some I read some like, snippets of her book that were put online. Yeah, sad. It's sad because, like as a kid, I'm watching iCarly and I'm having fun, and I think they're having fun, and I think they love what they're doing, and I love their characters, and I love the show. It's kind of sad to grow up, and and it's sad in a way of like, when you're a child, everything's just so bliss, and when you grow up, it's like, no, it's not. It's not peachy. It's not sunshine and rainbows all the time. A lot of childhood actors that I've grown up watching on shows, they've come out and have talked about, they didn't always have the great experience on the show. They didn't always like the show or what they were doing, And as a fan of the shows, it's disappointing to hear. But at the same time, yeah, it's kind of cool to hear more of their experience. And honestly, my problem with iCarly has nothing to do with Jeanette McCurdy not being there. The way that I said it before the show even came out, all you had to do was explain that Sam moved away and they lost touch, and that's exactly what they did. Is Sam is off living her life. She doesn't live at the Bushwell for what are they? They're supposed to be like 27 years old. They're almost 30 years old. They've been living there for like 15 years. Carly and Freddie have been living in the same hotel with the same people for 15 years, probably more because they probably lived there all their lives. So yeah, not everyone does that. Not everyone has to stay in the same place. So Sam left, that's fine. I don't think the show would be any better if Jeanette McCurdy was in it, to be honest. I don't think the show would be any better if they had the character of Sam. So that's just my opinion. Lost Alien Media. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Happy to have you here. Do you ever want to venture into making films in some capacity or stick to just talking about them? Great job, by the way. Well, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. I definitely had that when I was younger. I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to maybe direct. I wanted to do something. But I don't know. That desire is kind of gone for me a little bit. I don't think the industry is a place for me to be, personally. Just because I know who I am and stuff like that. I respect the industry, though. I respect the entertainment. That's why I love talking about it. That's why I like learning about it and talking about it with you guys. I think it's such a collaborative and such a beautiful community and place to be. And I just love the stories that come out of it, of triumph, of losses and winnings. And I just think they make for great stories and great discussions. And I really respect the entertainment industry. But me personally, I don't have really any desire to get into it, to be honest. I love talking about it. I love enjoying it as a fan, and I love talking about it with other fans as well. So, but thank you for that question, man. I appreciate that. Frankie Peacemaker says, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey was absolutely awful. That seems to be the consensus. So I'm probably not ever going to watch it. Michael 101591 says, I have respect for Jeanette McCurdy after coming out and telling that story. Me too, man. Me too. Jeanette McCurdy got a lot of respect after that. And, she wasn't really around for like years. I didn't really know where she went. So when she popped back up and told her story like that, it was just kind of like, whoa, who knew this was going on? Crazy. And Ken says, gotta head out. Have a great night. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, man. Thanks for joining us for this show, and thank you for being a channel member. And as always, dude, the show is made better because you were a part of it, and I appreciate you, man. We'll see you on Saturday. And if you guys want to join us on Saturday, just to let you know, we do have channel memberships open on this channel, and at the $6.99 tier we have Members Talk Live. Members Talk Live is a show we do on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You get to jump on camera with all of us. We get to talk about one topic for an hour, and then the show goes up for all to watch on Monday. It's a real great time. You can find all the information to join us there in the description below. And with that, guys, that was our last comment of the night, so it looks like that will do it for this episode, number 60. Can you believe that? Number 60 of Zach Milne Talks Live. Every time we hit that another 10, it's like, wow. Did 10 weeks of Zach Milne Talks Live, we're already at number 60, man. It's crazy. And I want to thank everyone for joining me here tonight. And we'll take Michael11591 says, did you ever watch Victorious? I did watch Victorious. I liked Victorious quite a bit, but it never really held on to me as much as iCarly and Drake and Josh and some other shows did. But I really liked Victorious. I was sad when it got cut at the legs so soon. Frankie Beastmaker says film stock the same age as you, by the way. Yeah, I believe that. He seems like a young guy. Well, guys, as always, thank you so much for joining me, guys. Thank you for all your contribution to the chat, for the engagement. Thank you to those who became channel members, who gifted channel members, and thank you to those who super chatted. It helps the channel a lot. I really appreciate it. And yeah, guys, with that, we will see you again next week. Same Zach time, same Zach channel.